Today might be the last. The last moment I get to say what's on my mind, the last opportunity I get to speak before I could potentially be fined, because shortly it's looking like we're about to leave our freedom behind.
Also one of those protected groups. So if millennials express hatred towards boomers because they don't think they're ever going to be able to own a house, could they be found liable for hate speech?
Again, it's hatred, and we're asking for feedback on that, is a pretty particular thing. And again, if it's an opinion on a particular group, then again, it depends on what you say.
But those millennials could be done under these hate speech laws.
Well, if your intent is to incite hatred against them, then potentially. But again, it's up to the police and what you say. I'm the Minister of Justice, I don't get to decide that. But if it's something...
We need to know your clarity of thought around the legislation though, right?
Absolutely, but I think...
So under this legislation, millennials could get done for...
About millennials having a go at boomers about house prices, I'm not necessarily sure if that's inciting hatred. It might be giving...
It's up in the air. It just doesn't feel like there's a lot of clarity.
We're growingly aware there's a change afoot in the political atmosphere that could eventually affect us in time. We're about to cross the line when voicing your opinions could land you charged with the hate crime. Freedom. For years we've taken it for granted as a human right, but the world is changing, and by the looks of things our future's not looking so bright. Slowly our nation's values are being snatched away while society crumbles and our freedoms decay. Freedom brought peace, protected all beliefs, and enabled us to retain our own. But you see, there's a lot of people looking at you and me with a frown. They claim superior beliefs, and if you contradict them, they'll scream hate speech and try and shut you down. They're all for freedom, as long as it's their own. It's just a ploy to take control and put their own beliefs on the throne. They preach tolerance while practicing the opposite. They say they're all for love while they've forgotten it. And they have influence. The education system is full of them. You can almost guarantee that no matter how prudent, they'll end up convincing nearly every university student. They're in politics and they're waiting to pounce, pass their hate speech laws, and finally announce that freedom is gone. Holding certain beliefs is wrong. It's done. They may even remove this video. They've won. Freedom of speech will be the first to go, and then after that, well, who knows? The very thing that enabled the abolition of slavery. We need more men and women with that kind of bravery. These hate speech laws are full of flaws. You'll know what I mean when they seek to limit yours, and once these doors are closed, they're going to be difficult to open. You open your mouth, you wish you hadn't spoken. Problem is, hate speech isn't clearly defined. You may seek to share your mind, but if your views are considered offensive, you could potentially be imprisoned or fined. Already, people have been shut down for unpopular views, losing their job with their face up on the news. They'll string the population along, drip feeding them propaganda till they're convinced that that particular freedom is wrong. And by that stage, it's the beginning of the end, where freedom is no longer viewed as society's friend. It's enough tiptoeing around this issue and being fearful to stand. We must raise our voice and stand for the freedom of our land. But the answer isn't violence, not hate in exchange for hate. We've got to raise our voice in love, grace, and prayer before it's too late. If we don't, then one day it might mean we lose our job, we're fined or criminalized, but either way, we've got to stand against these lies. We should know by now, learning from the past, that without freedom of speech, none of our freedoms will last. Today might be the last moment I get to say what's on my mind, the last opportunity I get to raise my voice before I could potentially be fined, because if we don't speak up, we could be leaving our freedom behind.